132 participants from 27 countries came to the Isha Yoga Center for the 21-week Hatha Yoga teacher training program. Designed by Sadhguru, this training will equip them to transmit classical Hatha Yoga in its purest form, as it has been handed down for thousands of years. We will follow them in their intense journey with a behind-the-scenes look at the making of a Hatha Yogi.
The way the volunteers greeted us ensured that everything was done in such a organized, stepwise manner. We were very kindly greeted like a child taken care of. How I felt reaching was, there was this palpable energy of excitement.
I'm Yi from China.
My name is Remo. I am from Switzerland.
My name is called Atunga Chris. I come from Africa, Uganda as a country.
I'm from Australia, from Sydney.
My name is Samuel. I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Very excited because I was waiting for this for a long time.
Now I feel so excited. I feel so happy for this program, to attend this program, because I had a desire and I have been looking for such thing like this.
Well, I knew I was interested in yoga and I knew I was interested in teaching it, and I had looked around quite a bit at different certifications, and most of what I found were a lot of online programs, 200 hour, 400 hour and that kind of thing. And so when I saw the description of the curriculum for this program, it just kind of blew me away, and it was pretty obvious that there was just more depth and more material that was going to be covered. And it was also clear that it was more than just, you know, the physical aspects and the exercise aspects, that there was going to be, you know, instruction in diet and food and anatomy, and I was also very interested in that. So
I'd like to find a new me within me, know the various aspects in depth. That's the key thing for me, because there are a lot of books available which can teach you what is yoga, but experientially it's totally different. So that's what, like, I want to experience the depth and then take it forward.
The training commenced officially on Guru Purnima. Over 10,000 people came to celebrate the event with Sadhguru. The night was filled with various meditations, performances, and discourses, which kept our trainees riveted throughout.
So the program was marvelous, especially the part where the Sanskriti kids perform. Expression through Bharatanatyam, through dance, through Hatha Yoga also, and through Kalari, the martial arts. The talent is exceptional, and to think that these kids in the ashram are doing so fabulously. I cannot possibly compare them with any kid of their age outside. So the performance was mind-blowing. Extremely privileged to be a part of the satsang with Sadhguru. The program was immense, it was massive with the kind of turnout that came.
The whole event was really special.
The trainees were also initiated into Om chanting, which they will do on a daily basis. Om chanting creates a sense of balance and well-being, which is very important before practicing Hatha Yoga. After the initiation, a certain kind of prasadam was made out of moong dal, ghee, and rice, which the trainees consumed later in the night. Hatha Yoga sessions began shortly after Guru Purnima, with the trainees learning Isha Upayoga practices in the morning and evening. These practices will be a preparation for the more intense Hatha Yoga, which will be taught in the days to come.
I enjoyed doing my Upayoga practices because I feel after this I'm very much energized and my day starts differently.
You know, the classes are very precise, the instructions and the teachers are 100% dedicated to our learning.
The trainees have settled into the Isha Hatha Yoga teacher training program and are getting into the routine of twice-a-day Hatha Yoga sessions. The trainees have recently begun the practice of Surya kriya, a potent yogic process of tremendous antiquity.
The way it was taught so systematically, so step by step, so you don't even miss a single thing. It was almost ingrained into you, into your body. So for me, it was really amazing. I think Surya Kriya is so sacred in the sense that the practice itself took me to a space inside me that I didn't know was there.
It definitely stabilizes me. I feel very stable when I'm practicing it regularly. But I do the Surya Kriya and I'm buzzing and I'm awake and I'm ready to take on the day. It's just the most phenomenal thing that Sadhguru's given us.
The group also went for a walk last week to a nearby village farm that gave them a complete view of the Vilingiri Mountains. This was also a good opportunity for them to get to know one another, with many of them coming from various countries and backgrounds.
I think the best part of the training is this curiosity as to what comes next.
Well, when we went for a walk, we were a whole bunch of 132 people going together. Just kind of great energy, just, you know, chatting, getting to know each other, getting to know where everyone was from properly.
It's really nice to get out and go out into nature, the beautiful surrounding of the ashram, and just have a walk like we did the other day when we went to that big old tree.
We had a little tree climbing competition as well, so that was fun. I think these little surprises is what makes this so special.
Later in the week, the volunteers prepared a surprise moonlight dinner for the group. A variety of specially prepared food was served with sounds of Isha, adding some magical melody to the evening.
The other night they organized like this beautiful outdoor dinner. They had little pizzas, they had even little vegetarian burgers.
Seeing all those happy faces, just enjoying the food, just being in the atmosphere, being with all these people together, was like a candlelight dinner. Yeah, I just enjoyed it, I loved it.
And of course I was talking to some of the other guys just the day before about chocolate and how everybody's craving for chocolate. So as if they could read our minds, they had a huge amount of mousse au chocolat prepared for us. So it was really nice, and everybody basically that evening was just mesmerizing about that mousse au chocolat.
On 12th August, Shivaratri, an auspicious day which happens once a lunar month, the trainees attended Panchabhuta Aradhana in the Dhyanalinga, a powerful process to cleanse the 5 elements within the system.
When the process started, I felt overwhelmed. The offerings were made in the form of like a yogic dance. It was beautiful and I had tears in my eyes all through. I felt this is a place of very powerful, extremely powerful energy, and I felt the energy coming all into me. I had goosebumps during the whole process.
Shri Guru Padukabhyam Natayayo Shri Patitam Samiyo Kadachedapyashu Daridra.
Just intense, especially during the fire ceremony and the wind offering. The performance they performed, the Swamis in the Dhyanalinga, was spectacular. It was just spectacular to watch. You were just electrified. Once the chant set it in and the drums were starting, it was just like you couldn't just sit still. It was like moving through you.
Like the music started happening and the chanting, and it was just like I got taken over. It was really, really powerful. And then after Panchabhuta, everything changed.
Later that week, many of the trainees went for the inner engineering retreat, which took place in the ashram. In addition to the class aspects, they were initiated into the powerful Shambhavi Mahamudra kriya.
I love doing kriyas. I've never done kriyas before, so having a practice, that's very much just so internal. That's very rewarding, and it'll stay with me for the rest of my life.
I felt nature so close to me that I've never felt before. I felt absolutely elevated from the ground. My body felt so light that I could never imagine. Now when I come back and do my Shambhavi practice every day, I do feel relaxed. The meditation has drastically improved my sleep. It has given me a sense of calmness. I think it's going to be a beautiful journey with inner engineering.
It's been almost a month now, and the trainees have begun to learn yogasanas and Angamardana, in addition to the Upayoga and Surya kriya. Aside from these morning and evening practice sessions, they have also begun sessions on yogic physiology, Nada yoga, and Siddha medicine.
I knew this was going to be something special, but since coming here, the level of detail that it's beyond anything. It's the way it's structured is so intelligent that each and every day I'm fascinated by how it's delivered to us. Each step by step, every single thing has been taken care of. We literally just have to show up and apply our efforts on the mat, and the teaching and the way it's facilitated is just, it's impeccable, really. I'm literally blown away by what's going on. I always knew yoga was a lifestyle, but literally it's a science to show you how to live in every aspect of your life.
Earlier this week, the Hatha yogis took a trip to an ancient temple and learned about the science of temple building. Afterwards, they went to a nearby farmhouse and enjoyed food and games with their fellow trainees.
So we left in, I think, 3 buses. We were 3 buses full, and it was fun ride. Knowing people, we have different talents, people who can sing, who can play music.
The temple was kind of like being transported back in time and through layers of time. There was the historical lesson of it, showing that parts of it were built 500–600 years ago and parts of it were built 2,000 years ago. And I've never really had an experience of being able to live and breathe and be a part of a space that has been going on like that for centuries, millennia even. And walking in there, the sculptures and the architecture that was there and what the Swami had told us, there's a kind of humbleness and extreme dedication that comes out in the work that you see. I had been to museums, but nothing really compared to the kind of dedication that in fine detail that went into making those.
Swami Vilasa came down and he started explaining the importance of each and everything, and that made all the difference. Otherwise it could have been just another temple visit, you just go look around and come back. But when Swami came and he took time to explain the significance of each one of the parts of the temple, I think that made a lot of a difference.
We had a really awesome time. We visited a farmhouse nearby and we had some really great food. It was fabulous with all the things like roti, chawal, sweets and all those things. And then we played frisbee. It was like a chaos, you know, people, 20 to 25 people playing frisbee. And there were only 4 or 5 frisbees, you know, frisbees flying all over. It was quite fun. And then the most important part was the dance and the music. People really lost themselves while, you know, dancing, and the music was just awesome. We really had a great time.
Angamardana, a powerful fitness system rooted in yoga, was taught over the past 2 weeks. This system will supplement the other Hatha Yoga practices which are being done on a daily basis.
Angamardana is like pure momentum. I've done exercise workouts of all kinds before, and I've never really felt something as energizing as Angamardana. You can forget your coffee and your stimulants and whatever like workout supplement you want to do to get into the mood of just being able to use your body. Angamardana is like, that's it, that's all you need.
This past week, the Hatha Yogis had the opportunity to spend an evening with Sadhguru at the Isha Yoga Center. Sadhguru went into various aspects of the training and some of the history of Hatha Yoga.
They had set up a place for us to sit quite right up in the front with Sadhguru, which was very special. It was very much an opportunity just to be that close to Sadhguru in his presence during a darshan. Makes me cry talking about it. And then during the darshan, we were able to ask questions of Sadhguru, and he very much talked to us. It felt like to me as a Hatha Yoga teacher trainee that he very much was talking to us about the process we're in the middle of, what we're going through, and his remarks were very timely, for me personally, very good to hear. He was laughing and joking. It was joyful, it was warm. As always with Sadhguru, you hear things that are very insightful and help you at the precise point where you are.
As soon as he was there and sat down, and it was very, I felt so in love with the essence of his being. It's so beautiful. I just felt like I'm sitting at the lap of the master, and this is a very precious time. I felt very like switched on. I was very awake and I was listening intensely to get every word and everything was happening. I was just taking it in.
With Hatha Yoga, yes, we are trying to knead the body. You need something because you have another intention. Kneading is not a goal by itself. You need the dough because you want to bake it someday. Just endless kneading, no use. We need to the right level of perfection so that one day we can bake it. One day it becomes a nourishing bread.
The questions that were asked were not questions that pertain to anything about me personally at all. Yet every answer he gave, everything that he said was directed directly towards me. And I think I'm not the only one that feels that way. And I was consistently blown away by him and by his intensity, his tremendous love. But it's when he got up off the bench, and his love is so intense. That's it for me. That was it for me. You can't explain these things in words. And everything for me has changed since that night. I've been waiting for this, and I didn't know it. And he taught me that with one look. He's pretty amazing.
Isha Gramotsavam, a celebration of sport among the villages in India, happened in Coimbatore in the presence of Sadhguru and chief guest Sachin Tendulkar. The trainees came along for the event and did their practices on the volleyball court after the proceedings were over.
It was so great. I'd never heard of Sachin, I'm sorry, but he's amazing. I could see why people just absolutely love him.
Every time we go out for a trip, there has to be a song and dance. So these are Hatha Yogis who dance and sing.
Just being part of that energy of the villages was so wonderful.
It was great to see them both together, two big icons of India.
Krishna Janmashtami, a celebration of Krishna's birthday, took place in the ashram as it does every year, with games and dance.
When I went in, I saw from the distance people were playing. So I started running towards there and someone started splashing the water on me.
When we went there were people playing drums and we had a very nice dance.
I feel there's so much change happening within me, in my body and in the way I perceive things. It's just an ongoing process. It's going really fast. It's so amazing to feel my potential and to feel how much energy I have and what I can do. What I love about this program is that it's giving me such a clear instruction on what to do, and is so and I can feel that it's working. And this is so great. I can feel that it's working. It's just if I do the things correctly and right, change is happening and transformation is happening. And I'm very glad to have come here and to receive this.
In the Isha Hatha Yoga teacher training program, all trainees have their practices corrected individually. From Upayoga, Surya kriya, Angamardana and Yogasanas, all postures are looked at to see the trainees understand the fundamentals of each and every practice.
So it's been a few weeks since we've been initiated into the practices, and recently we went through a session of one-on-one practice corrections. I must say that it was very insightful, a little bit painful, because sometimes you think you're doing it right, you think you've got the instructions okay and you're doing it okay, but so many mistakes are there and you were not even aware of it. Even the subtlest of subtle corrections were made. And what I noticed was the way in which the corrections was made, the precision with which it's been told, and it's not done like a physical process. In Isha, it's more like an internal, inward process where even if you're not able to do it right then, it gets recorded in such a way that you know that that's how it's supposed to be, and you'll get there eventually.
It's a very humbling experience, and it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding because there are so many things I didn't realize I was doing. I thought I wasn't bending my knee, and I was bending my knee. So to have somebody point that out to me in a very constructive, a very supportive environment, it was very helpful. And since that, I've been noticing things far more when I do my actual practices. And now I'm paying much more attention to how I do it. So it was really, really helpful.
The whole practice correction session in a way was quite an inward driven process where things are being told to us in a way that we have to look at them personally. I mean, I've seen several videos on YouTube and other places where when you see, people are correcting the asanas, they touch the students and they'll fix them physically, to get them into the right posture. But with the way it was done here, it's the kind of sanctity that is maintained, not just because it is a physical posture, because it's way more than that. Very next session when I started doing my practices after that, after getting the corrections, it actually, if you really pay attention, it really reflects in the way they take effect in your body and your mind.
Honestly, I'm completely amazed by the way the training is happening. It feels so natural for me. It just feels so natural. It just feels like this is what we're supposed to be doing, and this is what is supposed to be happening anyway. It's not just about learning Hatha Yoga. I feel like I'm learning a whole new way of life. They're going into every detail of an ideal way to be. As a teacher, I think how you are is more important than what you're saying. So I'm trying to focus on that more than anything else. I think this is one of the best sort of education that I've ever been through, that I've ever seen happen. I've never seen this quality of education anywhere. So yeah, I just think I'm lucky to be here.
My name is Sam. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So in the morning, I usually wake up at about 4 a.m. and head straight to the Adiyogi Alayam and do some kriya yoga before the Hatha Yoga. And right now, in the morning, we're doing Upayoga, Surya kriya, and the asanas. I've always been interested in health and fitness, particularly the last 2-3 years, but this is a different level of fitness altogether, for sure. The way my breath is slowing down, the way my joints and muscles and my balance is also improving, and it's been really empowering to see that physical change over a period of time. In the morning session, we had partner corrections. I always really enjoy partner corrections. It's a humbling experience because many times you think you've got it right, and it feels right when you've got your eyes closed. Your body feels like it's aligned, but then it turns out when someone else observes you that all kinds of things are happening. Fingers are sticking out this way, your arms are bent, or any number of things can be happening. And so it's really good to get that feedback and to constantly be improving, constantly be correcting the postures. After the morning session, I always feel very grounded and calm and quiet within myself. My thoughts feel very balanced, and I just feel really good. And after the morning session, there's a small break, and then at 10 o'clock, we head to brunch. So the food that we've been eating is amazing. I've definitely never eaten this healthy before in my life. And it's really nice also that we don't have to put any effort into eating healthy. Everything is prepared for us. It's hot and ready when we get there, and it tastes amazing. So it's been really cool to have that just taken care of for us. So the 11 o'clock sessions change from day to day. Yesterday the session was on how to conduct a class and how to coordinate between a demonstrator and a teacher. So we were going over some of the practices and seeing how to set up the class and conduct it. And I definitely learned some things there that I did not know before. I'm learning that it's a lot more tricky than you might expect, coordinating between the demo person and the teacher. Every fine detail matters, and the coordination has to be flawless. Towards the end of the afternoon session, on a daily basis, we've been doing Nadi Shuddhi and Om chanting just for about 20 minutes, which is a really powerful sadhana. It doesn't take much time at all, but it's very grounding. I feel really relaxed, and my body sort of feels at a distance from me when I'm finished. After the afternoon session, I had my first practical assessment, which is where one of the instructors comes and watches how you set up a class and how you coordinate with a demo person. And I got some insightful feedback. There were a few things that I had become unconscious of that I didn't know that I was doing, and I was able to correct those things and get some feedback from the instructor. Overall, it was a learning experience to say the least, and I'm really looking forward to expanding my base of knowledge and just improving upon my skills, because I really want to be able to teach by the end of this program. So after my practical assessment, the sun was at its highest point, which is usually a very good time to go and take a dip in the Surya. So I went and did that, and it's always very energizing. Getting in that body of water, immediately I can just feel the energy rising up in my body. And afterwards, when I come out, I always feel very calm. And after the Surya I went to the Dhyana Linga and meditated for a few minutes, which was also very calming and nice. We have 2 practice sessions each day. The second session is at 4 p.m. and we've been doing Angamardana in the afternoon sessions recently, which is a very powerful practice. I've been noticing a lot of improvement in Angamardana lately. My flexibility and my ability to really attack the practice with a little bit more aggression. I've been seeing that come out, and actually it's my favorite practice right now. And I always feel pretty tired after Angamardana, but at the same time very energized, and it's an excellent preparation for the other practices. I notice that when I do Angamardana first, the asanas are much smoother and I'm more flexible. I can get further into the postures. It's been really cool to see that. The evening practice session ends around 6:30, and after that we go straight to dinner. And for dinner, there's a separate area where all the Hatha yogis eat together. The volunteers have prepared another amazing meal for us. Actually, all the meals are always great. And after that, we headed back to the Adiyogi Alayam for the last session of the day. So in the night session, we started with a game, which is always really fun. Everyone loosens up right away, and it's really fun to see everyone's smiles come out, happy faces. It's also cool to see a little friendly competition come out amongst the participants. It's not always about being 100% serious here in the training. And this is also another aspect of the training so that we can play these games with our participants when we go home and conduct programs. After the game, we did an exercise where we were meant to identify mistakes that people may be making in the practices so that we can get better at catching the mistakes early and making sure that the participants go home knowing exactly how to do the correct posture. My experience of the program thus far has been very humbling, I would say. It's also the most worthwhile thing that I've ever chosen to do. It's not easy, but I know why I'm here, and I can see very clearly what this is doing to me, and it's priceless, really. It's amazing, the transformation that's happening, and I can't believe, looking back at how many weeks have already gone by, I think we're on the 10th week now. The training's almost halfway over, and it feels like so much has happened in a very short period of time. Almost too much for me to even understand intellectually exactly what's happening. It can be a bit overwhelming sometimes, but it's very powerful, and I'm very glad that I'm here. I'm very blessed to be here, really lucky, and I'm very excited to see what happens next.
अजब शहर में आजा रे हंसा भाई निर्गुण राजा पे सिरगुण सेज बिछाई हाँ सिरगुण सेज बिछाई अरे हरे भाई उड़ा मंदारिया में देव नाही झालर कुटे गरज कसे अरे हरे भाई रंग महल में अजब शहर में आजा रे हंसा भाई निर्गुण राजा पे सिरगुण सेज बिछाई हाँ हाँ सिरगुण सेज बिछाई अमृत प्याला भर पाओ भाई लसे भ्रांत सी अरे हरे भाई अमृत प्याला भर पाओ भाई लसे भ्रांत सी तारा रंग महल में अजब शहर में आजा रे हंसा भाई निर्गुण राजा पे सिरगुण सेज बिछाई हाँ सिरगुण सेज बिछाई या रंग महल में अजब शहर में आजा रे हंसा भाई निर्गुण राजा पे सिरगुण सेज बिछाई सिरगुण सेज बिछाई अजब शहर में आजा रे हंसा भाई निर्गुण राजा पे सिरगुण सेज बिछा
This past week, the trainees went on an excursion to Anuvavi Subramanya Temple, an ancient temple near Coimbatore which is significant for the medicinal flora that surrounds it. During their visit, they had a session on Siddha medicine, an ancient system of medicine which originated in South India.
When we were told that we would go for a trip, it was a really nice surprise. So when we get up in the morning, I was so looking forward to it. By the time I got to the foot of the hills, and then just the presence of the stairs and extended to the uphill, and to see the trees come across, it's such peaceful and very pleasant experience.
When we were up there, the view was amazing. Because I live in Switzerland, I see the mountains from where I work, and this was also like, wow, you feel so free, and it's like you can breathe in much more deeply.
I had never experienced something like that, and I did not know it would be so calming and amazing to lie in the, right under the sky, between the mountains, and do the practice. I don't think I was ever so much into my sadhana that I was with that day. The way my asanas were happening, or the way breeze was, or the way mountains were smelling.
The stillness in me, it was very deep. So it was first time actually I doing yoga outdoor, and at that time, although there were many people around me, but I felt it was just me and the mountain. And there were times there were drizzling rains, and then when I closed my eyes to my sadhana, the feeling, it was very difficult to describe it, but there's feeling of just emerging into the surroundings, and I absolutely love it.
We had a Siddha medicine class with Swami, and the place that Isha had chosen was actually, that temple was surrounded by natural herbs. So Swami took us around, showed us different herbs and how it benefits our bodies and how it can be used for medicinal use.
It was amazing to do the Yom chanting and the Nadi Shuddhi on top of the mountain again. We were in so much awe of being on top of the mountain that even without the teachers telling us what to do, we wanted to do the normal chanting that we do during the class.
When we were about to leave, I was still standing on the top and stared at the mountains. I don't want to go.
That day is gonna go down the memory lane for sure. It's gonna stay with me for a long, long time.
The most beautiful thing for me is being with these people here together. A group of people going towards one direction. That is the most intense and beautiful thing.
And in terms of experience, I don't think that I have come across something so beautiful in my life before. It's just amazing how much effort and thought has been put into designing this program.
And also see the transformation happen around people around me. And knowing I will be the one eventually, by end of the 5 months, take this, transmit to other people, is a great privilege. And to know the transformation can touch other people. So I'm very touched that I can be part of this process. So very looking forward to see what's coming up in the coming 2.5 months.
Navratri is a grand celebration at the Isha Yoga Center. Special pujas, classical music concerts, and dance performances add to the ashram festivities. The Hatha Yoga teacher trainees were a part of this celebration.
I've always celebrated this festival back home, but I never really came to know the real meaning behind it.
We had a Garba dance. It's a traditional Gujarati dance. We got dressed up in the festive clothing and we tried dancing and it went quite well.
It was a lot of fun because it united all of us Hatha Yoga participants together. We just had a great time.
At first I may not know what is Devi Puja. It was too beautiful.
I was able to feel the intensity within me. It was something else. The energy was in a different level altogether.
How all the Mas and the Bharatanatyam dancers and the people who playing the music, everything just created such a powerful and intense atmosphere. Coming from Nepal, where there are a lot of temples, I've never really been so aware that when you go to a temple, you know, the energies are so strong. Everybody was just so meditative inside.
It's been close to 3 months now in the program, and definitely there's a lot of changes. I've seen like the way I transform. It's been immense, I can say that.
I'm getting so much from the course and this whole process that I can't wait for the next 2 months. It's just taken me within to a completely different levels which I never knew existed, and it's just my whole perception on life and on human existence has completely altered. I didn't even know that something like this could happen.
So an essential part of the training here are practical assessments. Basically that means that we are put into real life situations where we are teaching a proper yoga class in front of a group of at least, I would say, 6 to 8 people. Senior teachers are always attending the classes and meticulously writing down any feedback that one could think of.
These are like mock classes that, you know, so all the mistakes that we have to make, we make them here. All the learning that has to happen happens here, so that we're prepared when we go out and teach the real class. And we've been doing them for about a couple of months now. And right now in the midst of Surya Kriya practical assessments. It's actually a fabulous tool, I have to say, because you have a certain idea of yourself and of how you can teach and you will teach. But when you get on there on the dais, something completely different happens. And when that happens, it's a bit of a shocker in the beginning, and you're like, wait a second, that's not exactly how I planned it, and you know, but. What's interesting is that the feedback session after the PA, and you get all the feedback from everyone who's been there, who's there, and the teacher who's at your PA.
They really write down any small detail that anybody could think of, and beginning from the class setup, the way the invocation is being sung, the way the teacher is sitting on the chair, and the way the teacher is speaking also. So in the end of the class, we are always doing feedback sessions, and they last normally at least for about 1 hour, because we're going into such a deep detail that basically nothing is missed out. And I've realized that it's really a tremendously valuable opportunity to have somebody with such a big experience really look deeply into what you're doing and the way you're composed within yourself. So actually I really loved the last practical assessment.
it's such a great deep learning. I mean, it's so precious because I don't think anything else could give you that, any other tool can give you that learning. Or even if you spent hours with yourself in front of a mirror, that you would have got that learning from, from a mock teaching. And it's great because you take that feedback and you apply it in your next PA, and you can see that improvement. And that's when you know that it's working, because you see that, with every PA you're getting better. And the teachers and everyone is so supportive, because even if you don't do too well and you're kind of beating yourself up about it, the support you get from the teachers is unbeatable. I mean, I don't have any words to say about how supported I feel, even though I feel that I could be doing a better job at the PA. And that is something that I will keep with me forever. And now the PAs are continuing, and we'll see how I fare with all the feedback that I've been getting. So we celebrated Halloween. It was so much fun. I actually thought I was going to go dress up as anything, but when I saw the ghosts and the mummies and all the other people dressed up and walking past my window, I was like, I have to go as something. The teachers dressed up too, which is amazing.
So the other day we went for a day trip to one of the Isha Vidya schools. They have been founded a couple of years ago in order to support underprivileged children from poorer families. And so we basically just went there to see how the kids were doing, how the school is built up, and to see the whole place. So it's a really nice project, but what struck me the most was the way the kids were, because it wasn't like a school that's like kind of boring and schoolish. It was like really exuberant, and all the kids had extremely joyous and bright faces.
Last night we celebrated Diwali in a way that I've never celebrated Diwali. It was just beautiful and divine. I really, it was special, very, very special. The mandapa, the back of the Adiyogi Alayam was, we lit it all up with oil lamps. And then we played a wonderful game. It was fun, it was joyful, it was festive. And then once the performance was over, everyone came to the back of the mandapam and started lighting the oil lamps. And then we had a lovely dance session at the end, towards the end of the night. And you could just see the light in everybody, the festivity in everybody, the love. It was beautiful. I really, really enjoyed Diwali.
The other day we had a trip to the lake. Being able to just take a long walk through the countryside and enjoy the nice weather.
The walk to the lake was amazing. The weather was great. We had the sun shining, it wasn't too hot. And it was through some village and through a very scenic route, through paddy fields and hills on the sides.
It was just a really light-hearted day, just being in the sun and just being able to interact with each other and being able to interact with the teachers.
And moments like this bring us all together again, because during the day, during the sessions and during the rest of the time when we're studying, we're all pretty much on our own, doing our own thing. But But when we go on these trips or these walks, everyone kind of is just themselves and having fun, and everyone's together, and the togetherness, it brings a certain quality and character to the whole experience of being here.
So we were told that we were finally going to go to the much awaited trip.
This time around it was a pleasant surprise when it was announced that we have to go and we'll be visiting certain places which have certain importance in terms of energy and in terms of they have certain yogic importance.
Where we reached Sadhguru Samadhi, which is in a place called Nerur, which is near Karur, located in the central part of Tamil Nadu.
So we were given a brief introduction about what this place is and how to be, and then we went to his Samadhi. The space itself somehow exuded a certain silence.
Once I entered there, the serenity of the place, the kind of the emotion that just swelled up within me was so nice. It's just like it was just too good. The sweetness of that place, not in terms of the taste, but in terms of the experience, it was like so comforting.
Something just kept me unmoving from that place, that I just wanted to sit there forever. I just didn't want to get up. We did our morning sadhana around the Samadhi place in open air, and after our morning sadhana we had a very delicious meal which was served with so much of care and affection by the local volunteers. And soon after that we headed on to Trichy. We reached Sadhguru Sri Brahma's Samadhi place. The energy in this space was so intense and so vibrant that it felt as if it just happened yesterday. It was so alive. Both of these Samadhi places were so simple and so humble that a passerby could just miss it. Both of them were so powerful in their own way.
And then came the water temple. This is one of the Panchabhuta Sthals, if I'm not wrong.
We were taken to this particular temple, the Tiruvanekkaval temple, because we were told that this temple has been maintained with a certain level of integrity and sanctity, and the process was kept, that the energies still remained intact the way they were established, which is not very common today.
So as soon as we entered the water temple, there was this elephant waiting for us to bless us. All the people, all of us went one by one and then took our blessings and gave our offerings, and the very sweet way of the way it was using its tusk and just taking the way it was blessing first and then taking the offerings. It was so sweet.
The moment we entered, it was the temple itself was massive. It was huge. And as we progressed into the temple, it became more and more detailed, and the kind of things that were there, the pillars, there were sculptures carved into the pillars, and we were told that a whole pillar was just one stone, and the pillar itself was very huge, and the kind of work that was done on the pillar was so magnificent that I was just sitting there and I was just imagining how this artist would have done this, all of this, and every single pillar was just same exact. The sharpness and the precision was so much in every single pillar, and this just amazed me that I never knew that these places existed in India. And then we went inside, we went through a process which was designed by Sadhguru to make us receive what was there and how to make use of this water element temple. We went through the process, and then we had to do our sadhana, which was a very beautiful experience and humbling experience.
So it was, the time came where we had to sort of wind off for the day, finish our dinner and then head back. There was one single thought which was lingering in all our minds. What a beautiful day.
When I look back to the beginning, it just feels like, how did it happen so fast? It was just, the whole thing was really just a flash. I can't believe how quickly it's gone by. And it's bittersweet, and in one sense I'm excited to be in an environment where I can offer this to people. But at the same time, it just feels like things happen so quickly. And in the beginning, it's almost like I didn't really know what I was truly receiving.
Right now, all of us are like a family. When I come into the hall, it's like meeting other family members, expecting to see, those people will be there.
After going through this 21 weeks of intense training, I feel like this whole software has been upgraded. I just feel like a newer and better version of myself. I've never felt so stable, and there's so much clarity about everything.
This program has been incredible every way. The support systems that have been built for us, the teachers, the space that has been offered to us, the Yogi Alaya, the schedule, how they've ensured that we can get to go to the temples and go to the sacred kund and experience this space in its full vibrance.
What we have gained in this 5.5 months, the lessons that we have learned over here, I don't think we would have ever learned all these things in our whole life if it was that tremendous transformation in me, in all the people I see around. It has been so huge. It's not, I don't know if it would have happened if I hadn't come to this place. So I would say this program was really designed in such a way that you could go through it with a lot of ease. I don't know if such a program exists in any other place in the world. If you really want a true transformation, I would say, this is a program to come to.
I feel really lucky that we got to spend as much time in Sadhguru's presence as we did. When I would listen to him speak, it was like this different quality was coming into how I experienced his words and what he was truly saying, and it was almost like it didn't even really matter if I didn't understand exactly what he was saying. Like, even if he had been speaking in a different language, somehow I still would have known what it is that he's offering and what it is that he's trying to show people. Simply by his presence, simply by coming into a space, everything that he is and everything that he has to offer is there beyond just his words, but the essence of who he is and what he has to offer this world is far beyond those things, and he carries it with him wherever he goes. And I've noticed as I've been able to pay more attention, just be more present, when he's there I can feel it. It's more like a transmission between him and whoever's in his presence.
Not even a moment during the program I felt that he's not there. I felt his presence is always there, and I felt he was just carrying me in his lap.
I come here because the strong desire that I want to build myself, I want to transform myself. Once I reach here, what I realize is that everything here, everyone here, they exist just for one purpose, to make us grow. This program, by keep practice, by keep doing sadhana, the way I exist totally changed. Right now, what I know is that I want to live a more intense life. I want to keep transform myself. And why I come in front is that the only thing I want to do, I want to bow down to everyone here, every moment here. Thank you.
The fundamental aspect of everything that we're doing is very carefully calibrated to see that everything that you do moves you away from what you have gathered to what you really are. Asatoma Sadgamaya. You keep that on wherever you go. It doesn't matter where you are. Always, every breath, every step, every act is about moving from untruth to truth. What you believe yourself to be, to what you really are. If you're doing this, you will see, you may dress differently somewhere you go, you may be among different kind of people, the atmospheres may be different, the language will be different, everything will be different. But you will see, if you keep doing this, suddenly, unknowingly, you will realize one day, you seem to be carrying Isha with you wherever you go. Because Isha is not a particular organization. Isha is not an Indian setup. This is a conscious culture where consciously, whatever you do, constantly you're moving from what you have gathered to what you really are. As long as you keep that on, you will see after some time, you feel wherever you are, it's there with you. It looks like you're carrying this entire hall with you, wherever you go, you're free to take it. I won't stop you. You must carry it with you. You must carry the Adiyogi alive with you wherever you go. That constantly the same energy, constantly the same aspiration that you want to grow from your limitedness to your unlimitedness. Keep the aspiration and the direction and the practice, you won't miss me.